Hello and welcome to Marketing Edge on TV, Nigeria's leading initiative in the business of brand management and in the management of brand business. It is a 30-minute awesome package that comprises brand news, branding focus, and industry conversation, all in a mix encompassing thorough and in-depth analysis aimed at promoting the brand idea. I am Oluwabukola Omoni.
Marketing Edge on TV, promoting the brand idea.
We begin Marketing Edge on TV with brand news, where we bring you the latest development around brands and on the field of marketing, advertising and communications in Nigeria and around the world. Now on brand news.
Olu Akamu has stepped down as the co-chief executive officer and president of OPay Nigeria. The former co-CEO, while sharing the news of his exit on his LinkedIn, expressed his gratitude to all stakeholders who have contributed immensely to the growth of the digital ecosystem. He noted that a lot still needs to be done collectively in the fintech community to ensure that no one is left behind by the modern digital financial system. The Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission (FCCPC) has instructed Google Limited Liability Company to disengage and clamp down on additional 18 digital money lenders' applications operating without relevant regulatory approvals from its Play Store. The Commission, while expressing its displeasure over the misconduct and lack of conformity to regulations, said the drastic measure is part of its effort in shielding citizens from the rising privacy breaches associated with the proliferation of loan sharks in the Nigerian digital space. The chief executive officer of the commission, Mr. Babatunde Irukera, maintained that the apps were not among those delisted on July 20, 2023. Report from Snowview, an outreach automation and customer relationship management software, indicates that email marketing is poised to reach record heights by 2025. According to data from Snowview, the volume of daily emails sent and received is on the rise. It states that in 2023, an average of 347.3 billion emails were exchanged per day, marking a 4.3% increase compared to the previous year. The platform also disclosed that the upward trend is expected to continue in 2024, with a projected total of 361.6 billion daily emails. These numbers, it notes, highlight the enduring significance of email as a communication channel in today's digital landscape. Furthermore, Snowview maintains that a substantial 89% of marketers rely on email as their primary tool for lead generation and suggests that these statistics underscores the effectiveness and widespread adoption of email marketing strategies within the marketing industry. Omnicom Group reveals that its media service division, known as Omnicom Media, has acquired Brazil's commerce and retail media agencies, Outpromo and Global Shopper. According to PR Newswire, Omnicom Media Group CEO Florian Adamski says with Global Shopper and Outpromo now part of the group, OMG will gain deep commerce and retail media expertise in Latin America's largest market, adding that such expertise with Omnicommerce will create end-to-end solutions that enable always-on insight, activation, optimization, and attribution across the entire commerce landscape. The report mentioned that Ricardo Franken, CEO of Outpromo, and Mauricio Gallien, CEO of Global Shopper, will retain a minority stake in the company and continue to serve in their current roles. Meanwhile, the acquisition is expected to close in the third quarter and is subject to customary closing conditions, including regulatory approval.
That was brand news. Next is branding focus, just after the break.
Marketing Edge on TV, promoting the brand idea.
Now on branding focus.
In the life of some brands, age matters. In the life of others, age appears not to matter the most. What matters is brand equity. But for the GlaxoSmithKline brand, one that has remained a long-standing and an influential player with a robust equity and age-long brand promise, its destiny has been challenged by the bedeviling hand of fate and fortune that have all marked the Nigerian corporate community. GlaxoSmithKline Consumer Nigerian plc, whose embodiment emblazoned consumer well-being, has remained a science-led global healthcare company with a special purpose and cardinal points which revolve around helping people do more, feel better, and live longer. For the past 51 years, the company has intentionally taken care of Nigerians with quality products and unparalleled health research to ensure the well-being of all. GSK, as it is popularly known, was established in 1951 as a healthcare company that researches, develops, and manufactures pharmaceutical medicines, vaccines, and consumer healthcare products. No doubt, it has been a turbulent journey for most companies who operate in the hostile and uneasy terrain of the Nigerian economy that is filled with sharks and other dangerous predators. Nigerian business environment has become a place of the survival of the fittest, haunted by various regulatory orders as well as infrastructural gaps and bottlenecks, which include high cost of production, incessant fluctuation of foreign exchange, which is metamorphosed into a significant deterrent for both business operators and investors. The negative impact of the economy has demonstrated that only the paranoid survive when it is armed with agility in an unfathomable economy. Today, GSK, an international company that has become local for the love of its consumers, is exiting Nigeria. This is not the first time a legacy company has left the shores of Nigeria for various economic reasons. According to a newspaper report, in the last 5 years, two of the biggest manufacturing companies that closed down their manufacturing plants are Procter & Gamble and GlaxoSmithKline. Remember that GlaxoSmithKline kicked off with the name Beecham Limited in 1972 when it blazed the trail with grit and guts as a market leader in the nutritional healthcare and the pharmaceutical segments, while gaining strong market penetration and unparalleled traction across many families. All through these years, GSK's main focus has mainly revolved around two reportable segments: the consumer healthcare segment, which consists of oral care, over-the-counter medicines, and nutritional healthcare, and the pharmaceutical segment, consisting of vaccines and prescription drugs. Reiterating that all necessary legal proceedings will be met as regards employees and shareholders, the company, after 51 years today, proudly has over 290 employees on its payroll.
That was Brand in Focus. Next is Industry Conversations, where we have discussions with industry thought leaders who have distinguished themselves in the business of brand management and in the management of brand business. Just after this break.
Marketing Edge on TV, promoting the brand idea.
Welcome to Industry Conversations, where we have discussions with industry thought leaders who have distinguished themselves in the business of brand management and in the management of brand business. Today we'll be speaking with the CEO of Extreme Ideas and the president of AAAN, Mr. Steve Babeko. Congratulations, sir, on congratulations to you and your agency on the milestone you just won. It's an amazing feat for the company. How do you feel, sir?
I feel totally. First and foremost, thank you for having me. Thanks to Marketing Edge for putting this together. I feel totally ecstatic, if there's any word like that. For me, I think this is the fulfillment of a dream I had as a young copywriter that started my career way back in 1994 at MC and Saatchi back in the days. And from day one when I resumed, and I've a couple of days into it, realizing that there's something called the Cannes Lions, and that at that time, Nigeria had never won it before. I thought it's possible for a Nigerian agency to win it.
Good.
And I've been chasing it all this while, and thanks to my team, we finally made it happen.
Great. We'll be coming back to that. So I just want to ask you, I know it's been a while since we had an interview with you, and you know, a lot has happened in the industry. I want to ask, what is your assessment of the creative landscape, which is, you know, your particular turf?
Well, I think the creative landscape is grown. I mean, nothing even testifies to the growth of the creative landscape more than the fact that Nigerian agencies are now winning international laurels. And not just Extreme Ideas alone. So many of our AAA agencies are flying the flag for the country and really winning internationally. I think that's really great. And if you now broaden the horizon and say, okay, you're not just talking about advertising. And as far as I'm concerned, advertising is the king of that creative landscape. Let's just be clear about that, you know. But if you really wanted to broaden the horizon and talk about other segments of the creative landscape, we're winning with music. Globally right now, Burna Boy, Davido, you know, Ashake, Wiz, Tiwa Savage, all of this, Yemi Alade, all of these incredible musicians are doing amazing stuff. Now go to movies. Movies also, I mean, right now in Nigeria, the local movies are actually outselling some of the blockbusters, some of the foreign blockbusters. So we're winning as well. So if you look at it, fashion-wise, we're winning. Culinary trends, we're winning. So if you look at the whole ballpark of the creative industry, I think Nigeria is on the cusp of becoming a global major superpower.
Well, great. So with what we witnessed at the Cannes Lions Creativity Festival, how would you rate Nigeria's advertising ecosystem with that?
Clearly, the result is out. I mean, the fact that we are able to win, first and foremost, I mean, let's be clear also, this is the first time the entire West Africa will have the opportunity to win.
In 70 years.
South Africa has won, East Africa has won, North Africa has won, leaving West Africa out in the cold for the past 70 years. The fact that we're able to win shows you the power and the fire that the Nigerian advertising industry is bringing to the global front today. And I feel very proud of our colleagues and all of the practitioners in Nigeria for all of the feats we're recording.
Okay, great. But what would you say have been responsible for the low turnout of Nigerian professionals, you know, at the event?
I think it's purely economics. Don't forget that, and I keep saying it, even apart from the low turnout of Nigerians at the event, even the low turnout of entries from Nigeria, purely economics. And I'll give you an example. If there was a small agency in Estonia, small European country, right, that is like the size of Extreme Ideas, they are billing, they make their money in euro, right? If their entry for Cannes Lions, I don't know how much it is for one entry, if it's 500 euro or 750 euro, as the case may be, they've earned money in euro. So they are doing one for one. Now, let it get to the turn of a Nigerian agency. They've earned money in Naira. They have to do 850 or 900 to 1. So you're already disenfranchised. And not to talk of the same, you see what the airline industry is even doing to us right now. We're paying more for tickets for the same journey, the same distance compared to our neighbors in West Africa. So that already has put us in a back foot when it comes to being able to afford the kind of resources that would help us be majorly present in some of those festivals.
Great, that's very happy. So would you say Nigeria is at par with other global professionals, you know, in leveraging technology to create compelling and enduring campaigns?
Oh, definitely. I mean, if you look at the campaign we won with, it's not just creativity, it is the creativity combined with technology that gave that campaign the edge, in my opinion. One, we worked with Little Steps Initiatives in Port Harcourt. The issue of soot had become an incredible disaster in that area as one of the major oil producing cities, Port Harcourt. All of the illegal refineries throwing lots of carbon in the air. to the extent that you can't even open your window in Port Harcourt today. And even when you close your window, if you wake up in the morning and just dab on any surface, you see soot on your hands. So they reached out to us, and we reached out to the German Environmental Protection Agency. They give us data for soot for about 41 countries. We used that to create a website, overlaid, poured all of those data for those 41 countries, and then we had an algorithm that will help us calculate people's actual life expectancy. The average life expectancy for Nigeria is about 52 years. Oh. Now, if you put all of that algorithm on it, if you tell us how long you've lived in Port Harcourt, your name, it can generate the fact that you have maybe 10 or 15 more years to live. Oh. And all of that, we now put AI on top of that, that now sends letters to your House of Rep and your senators, bringing to their attention the fact that soot is a problem for Port Harcourt residents. So it is not just creativity, it is how you are able to combine creativity with a whole lot of tech. And I think Nigeria is really, really pushing hard in that front.
That's so good to know. Okay, so what would you say are your learnings from the global event, that you think Nigeria advertising can infuse into theirs?
I think it's just a bit of more confidence. I think sometimes we get a little too not too self-assured. The economy hasn't helped either. So sometimes for every business you get, you're holding on so tight to it. And sometimes when you're left when you're left in that survival mode, you take some of the things you shouldn't take. Our colleagues outside this country, what I see more is that self-confidence. They know they can quickly say no. I think we should learn to say no more than we're saying now, and just be able to work for the clients that we're really, really happy to work for, who will also be happy to work with us, because with this relationship between agency and client, it is not master-servant relationship. It should be relationship of business partners and associates. So because we're all working on the same side we're all batting for the same team, we're rooting for the same team. So we should, I want to see more of our people getting more self-assured and more confident on the job.
Okay, so let me ask you, what is the future of AI, seeing the brilliant work shown at the prestigious Cannes Lion Awards, and, how are practitioners in your sector leveraging this tool to optimize, their client bottom line?
I think AI, if I will, to start with, I would be surprised if there was no question about on AI from you today. Everybody's talking about AI and how, well, it depends on what side of the divide you fall. Some people are so petrified about AI. Oh, AI is like the Antichrist, is going to come and take away all our jobs. But for me, I've always said, AI and tech generally is what will give our creativity better wings to fly. So I think instead of being scared of it or being petrified of it, we should just embrace it and take the good sides. I mean, there are so many things that we can do with AI. And I see my colleagues are on it already. I mean, if you see, I'm sure this year's Cannes or any of the global advertising award shows that I have joined, you are drowning in work that is AI related. So I think sometimes we need to just take one or two steps back. Yes, AI is the new tech, but the new tech of today will become the old tech of tomorrow. Wow. Let's just be much more broad-minded, knowing that it has certain positive aspects that it's bringing. Let us embrace those positive aspects and run with it.
Okay, great. So I want to ask you about the audience measurement. I know it's been over a year since it was created and introduced. Can you say that the system or the scheme has actually achieved what it was, implemented for? Can you say that's, help practitioners? Like, has it actually helped practitioners, and how well has the challenge of, the measurement been solved?
So for some of these huge problems confronting the industry, there are actually no silver bullet for it that say, okay, look, find this solution and then the problem is gone. Shout out to the former Minister of Information, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, for constituting that presidential task force on audience measurement. And let me use this opportunity to say rest in peace to the former chairman of the audience measurement task force, Mr. Tolu Ogunkoya. He passed away a couple of months ago, sadly. So that work still remains inconclusive as it is, because we really could not conclude. I was also a member of that task force, and I'm using this opportunity to reach out to the new president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to maybe revisit this issue. I mean, I guess once the new ministers are in place, then the new minister for information will be able to take it on. It's important that we have the audience measurement fully concluded.
Okay.
And yeah, the members of the last committee are still on standby. If they find them useful, I'm sure they can recall them to continue the work so that we can put it to bed, because the value is immeasurable.
It's massive. Great. Yeah. Okay, so I want to ask, what is your position on some of the recent regulatory reforms introduced by ACON?
Well, again, I'll say big shout out to the DG of ACON, Dr. Olalekan Fadolapo. I think he's done an incredible job just generally trying to sanitize the industry. I mean, I think the impact of those reforms are really far-reaching as far as I'm concerned. You know, even though there's still the tug of war between a member of the ecosystem, an association that's totally at variance or at maybe in conflict with the ACON position. I mean, between them and ACON, I expect them to resolve those issues. And as AAAN, we'll always be available to lend our voice where we think we're needed and where it is necessary. But as far as I'm concerned, and as far as AAAN is concerned, we're happy with all of the reforms that ACON has made. Let's not forget, what we're dealing with now is not just about law and order. We're dealing with about livelihoods and the lives of people. We're dealing with lives of hundreds, about thousands of people who are employees within the advertising ecosystem. Now, if we had left everything the way it was before the DG of ACON came in and started sanitizing, in a couple of more years, there will be no advertising industry. And that will mean no jobs for people to do. And I don't think that's what the government wants. The government wants to strengthen all of the different ecosystems so that we can get better and be able to hire more people. Now, with all of the things going on before, where people can owe you for endless number of days, advertising agencies were beginning to shut down.
Yes.
I'm the president, so I know this. So how are we going to improve the capacity of advertising agencies to be able to hire more people? And if you look at it, just check it by numbers. The GDP of Nigeria is the highest in Africa today. I stand to be corrected. Close to over $400 billion per annum, right? Compared to the advertising industry in Nigeria. Why? Because all of those laws and regulations are intact in South Africa that allows the government to patronize registered advertising agencies and allow people not to be owed endlessly, and allowed a lot of professionalism. But that has been missing in Nigeria. And if the government wants this industry to improve, so that it is in the interest of government that the advertising industry continues to grow. Like I said, if they grow, then they can hire more people. If they hire more people, then they will pay more taxes. But if the law does not make it conducive for us to grow, then you are killing the goose that's supposed to be laying the eggs. So that is where I salute the courage of the ACON DG for being able to boldly come out and do all of the reforms that he's been doing. And I hope the new government will encourage him to do more.
And I'm sure the new government, they would really like, government like taxes. So,
absolutely.
It's something they want to hear.
Absolutely.
Okay, so talking about technology and skill set, what do you think is will be typical requirement, the typical requirement for technology and skill set for, creative agencies of the future?
It's not of the future. We're talking about creative agency of yesterday. We as creative people or as an industry, we need to start looking at new designations as far back as since last year, because we're already late. Okay. I've always said engineering is what's going to drive marketing going into the future. And I mean engineering as an umbrella word for technology, basically. See, right now at Extreme Ideas, we're in the market to hire a new CTO, the Chief Technology Officer for the group. Because it's no longer about just creating communication, feel-good communication. It's about being able to create one platform for the agency that whether the client gives you a brief or not, you have platform that will keep generating revenue for yourself. And that is where we should be looking at. So we're looking at getting developers, tech people to come into our industries to help us amplify the idea, and I think that will be the model for most creative agencies going forward.
Marketing Edge on TV, promoting the bright idea.
And that's the much we can take on this episode of Marketing Edge on TV. Join us for the concluding part of our interview with Steve Babeko. Same time next week. I am Oluwabukola Omoniyi.